Hi, my name is Žiga.
And my name is Miha.
And we are going to be hosting today's webinar. We are going to dive into the charts, one of the best features on the market when it comes to talent discovery. So why charts? Our charts cover almost every artist in the world, from those superstar names that you would see on television, here on radio, to those who are just starting with their careers. So we believe that charts are the way to start your market research and then move from there on into the more detailed and more in-depth analytics search.
Exactly. So moving forward, we'll be using the word analytics a lot, but don't get scared hearing that word. When designing Viberate analytics, we actually had a few simple rules. First of all, data shouldn't be rocket science. Secondly, all research should be done in one place. And third and most important thing, information should be presented in a clear and visually appealing way.
And for those who don't know us yet, what is Viberate? Viberate is actually a music research and analytics platform intended that we provide all the music industry, all the relevant data in the music industry for the labels, artists, artist managers, booking agents, event managers and organizers, and many more. Simply put, we are here to help you make better and smarter decisions when it comes to career growth or navigating this tough, challenging music industry at this moment, right?
Yeah, true. So about us, we're a part of the product development team here at Viberate, which means we oversee and coordinate development of new features, while we also gather feedback from users to make sure that everything we push forward is as friendly and as useful as it can be. Okay, I see we still have a couple of people joining in, so maybe I take this opportunity to invite you to ask as many questions as you have. Simply put them in the Q&A section below, and in the end, we'll make sure to answer as many as we can, right?
Yeah. And also, I would like to welcome you to use the chat section that is also at the bottom of this presenting screen. Our colleague Ariana is already in the chat, and she will be the one answering your questions on spot. And please don't forget to select all panelists and all attendees option when posting your comment. So everyone actually attending this webinar will have an option to see your comment, maybe get an idea, or maybe start a healthy debate that can develop later on in the chat section. So with that being said, let's just quickly check what will we cover today. So today you will learn that how to spot rising talent out of thousands of artists trying to make it. So we have a really great, really big charts, almost 500,000 artists in it.
Yeah.
And then the second one, how to quickly evaluate those potential artists trying to pitch you for maybe for a release if you're a label manager, or if you're an artist or a producer, the ones that are trying to pitch you for a collaboration or something like that. And with that being said, I think it's the best we just dive right into the charts and our Viberate platform, right?
I completely agree. Let's do it. This is actually our homepage. So this is what you see if you go to viberate.com and you don't have an account already. You can easily sign up for an account with Facebook, Google, or with your email. You can do so here, and it's completely free of charge. So feel free to do it anytime. I'm just going to refresh this and show you how the page looks like once you're logged in. So this is your homepage once you're logged in. The main part of the screen actually contains some useful shortcuts to the most useful parts of our platform, the ones that are visited most commonly. And in the main navigation bar, starting from right to left, you see there My Viberate, which basically has information about your profile, settings, and so on. Then we have Learn. We have a really extensive Learn section with a lot of tutorials, guides, how-tos, basically all the learning material you need to use our platform to the most, just to get the most value from it.
Yeah, I mean, this webinar being one of those learning materials we are providing you.
Exactly. And if you go to features, you find more detailed information about all of the features inside our platform. Then we have charts, which is what we're here for today. So we will circle back to this a bit later. And Discover is actually a cool place to go if you don't have anything specific in mind and you just want to explore around the platform to see different entities. So when I say entities, I actually mean pages for different key stakeholders inside our platform. As we mentioned before, we're a music research and analytics platform. So we have detailed pages for all the key stakeholders, such as artists, venues, festivals, events, countries, and genres. And then on the left, you have home, which takes you to this page where we're at now. And this, of course, is the search bar. This can be your best friend when you already know what you're looking for and you want to search for something specific. So when typing your search query, results will come up below, distributed by the entities. So you see pages for artists, festivals, venues, countries, genres, and so on, matching your search query. So by clicking on either one of them, I'd be directed to a more detailed page, including up-to-date and relevant information about the artist or, let's say, festival that I want to search for. So let's go back and go to what we're here for today, which is charts. As mentioned, we're today interested in discovering artists, so we want to go to the part about artist charts. Let's just wait a couple of seconds while they load. All right, here they are. So maybe for some of you looking at this for the first time, it might be a bit much to take in, but I assure you, once we're through with our webinar, you would be more than familiar around the charts, knowing exactly all the functionalities and being able to use it to your own advantage. Before showing you a bit more how technically things work, maybe a word about why we even decided to build charts this way. Actually, charts, they have like this universal appeal, you know, they are something that everybody understands, something that everybody is familiar with. You know what it means if somebody ranks first, if they rank 10th or the 100th. It's a clear ranking system that gives you really useful information.
Yeah, I mean, comparing to others and also to yourself, you can see if you're either getting higher or lower on the charts. So it's also a good indicator how you are doing.
Exactly. But the problem with charts has usually been that they were limited to, let's say, top 100 or at most top 200 artists. So music professionals didn't really have that much use for them up until now, because when an artist made it into the top 100, they were basically already a superstar. But our charts are different in that, because we have all the artists featured in one single chart. So all the artists on Viberate, all the artists here, you can find them in one chart, and that's why they are so powerful and so useful.
Yeah, and the data is actually those artists that I mentioned before. All the data is unique. Those are the unique artists without duplicated values and anything. So we really have a clear and unique data here.
Yeah, true. The second main difference from classic charts is that our charts have a lot more data. You can see here all the relevant social media and streaming channels being presented. And actually the default sorting of the chart is by Viberate popularity. So we take all this data of online performance and we aggregate it into one single metric that really showcases an overall unbiased ranking. So we like to call it the one metric to rule them all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the objective way of telling how someone is doing, because it's not taking into account any subjective, you know, voting bodies, but it actually takes into account every social and streaming channel that you can see here, from the fan base growth to fan base engagement, and taking all this data, combining it, and then calculating, I think, more than 1 billion data points daily.
Billion data points daily are being calculated here.
And that's why those charts are loading so long. I mean, long.
It just took a couple of seconds.
But still, it takes into account all of these data points that are calculated and fetched daily.
True. And the last and most important difference, which makes our charts so unique, is the fact that you can personalize them to your specific needs. You can filter them down to fit your specific market or your specific case, so they can be as useful as they can be to you. So Giga, why don't you take it away and show them how they work?
Sure thing. So like you said, we're here about the usefulness and the practical use cases of how to use it. So a typical user that comes to Viberate will go around talent discovery in one of the two ways, probably. So the first one was, like Micha mentioned before, you have someone specific in mind and you use the search function. And the second one is you have an idea, or you know in which genre or countries your label is working, and you want to build from there on. So you select the main criteria that will be the base for your research, and then move from there on and go more in depth, getting the list of few potentials and digging deep to see which one of those is actually the real rising star in the making. So to go, let's say, straight to the case number one, like I mentioned, it is the search function. In what situation is this search function actually useful? In one of two ways, basically. So if you're a music professional, like artist manager or a label manager, then you are probably getting, like I mentioned before, a lot of requests for someone to be signed under your label, or someone just listen to my release, listen to my track. And this is a great way to start your market research, because you simply go to this search section and then type in the name, and you will be directed directly to this artist. And for the second case, this is not intended only for the labels or music professionals in this scene or segment, but also for producers or artists, because a lot of times the promotion part that is happening in music industry goes with collaborations. And how to decide if you're going to collaborate with someone or not, this is basically the same. You go here on the top left corner, type in the name. Let's say someone is trying to pitch Umek, our co-founder, for a collaboration. And what you can do, for example, let's type in his name. Like before, there will be some calculations, and by clicking on the correct name, you can see that we are directly then scrolled down to his position. Micha mentioned before that default setting is Viberate popularity, that again takes into consideration all the music social channels and streaming channels. So basically what this tells you is that this number 7,321 is the rank that Umek currently ranks in the world. So this is his rank in the world, and the red actually shows for how many ranks he dropped in the past 30 days. So basically, if we have 500,000 unique artists and he's 7,321, that's actually a really great number.
That's an awesome number.
So to just show you what you get on the screen right away, again, you get his name, his image, that is pretty self-explanatory. And then moving on, you get this Viberate popularity rank that is always presented. Then you get the ranking in his country of origin, moving on to his main genre and subgenre in which he's working. And on the right, we have this social and streaming metrics we talked before. So from the fan base in the upper row to the actual engagement metrics in the one below. So the same would happen for any other artist. You would simply type in the name and see how he's working. This is really for the quick overview but clicking on the artist, you can go into much more details, which Micha will do just shortly, right?
You sure you want to scroll up from number 7,000 to
Yeah, not really. So for this, the best thing would be to actually use our arrow on the right, where you can move right back to the top, to the default screen, from where you can start your research once again. And Micha, you do the second case, right?
Of course, let's do it. So for the first case, we had a clear understanding of who we're searching for, and we wanted to check them on the chart. For our second case, we're going to start from ground zero. So let's say we don't have already an idea exactly who we want to find, but let's step into the shoes of, let's say, a label executive or label manager who's coming from France and operates in the electronic genre, more specifically in the dance segment, who actually wants to find some artists who are currently on the rise due to their performance on one of their music channels. So what we want to do first is we want to narrow down the chart to reflect only the conditions that are really important to us. So first thing is the country, since let's say he wants to find only artists coming from the same region as him. So we can scroll down to France, or we can simply type it inside the search box and click here.
And just to mention at this point, you are not limited to only a single country or genre. You can select as many as you want, but if you want to go specific, then you only select one. If you maybe want to go France and Spain, you would type in both, and that would give you the chart of both countries.
Exactly. And moving one step further, we said that we're interested only in electronic artists, so we want to select electronic here. Also for the genre, same thing applies. You could also select multiple genres if that applies to your specific case, but for ours, let's just stick with electronic. And you might notice that when selecting a certain genre, also the subgenres will appear below. So here we have all the electronic subgenres, of which we're interested in specifically dance. You may have noticed that while selecting these filters, the charts refreshed each time, reflecting the actual conditions we set here. So what we have here is all of the artists coming from France that perform in the dance subgenre of electronic music, and they're currently sorted by their Viberate popularity, which we can see here. But since we said that we're really interested in the artists who are performing well on, let's say, the music segment, since for a label that's, I guess, important when considering signing someone, we want to switch the sorting to a more specific one. You can see here all the different sorting options, but for our specific case, I think that the most appropriate one, or at least one of them, would be SoundCloud plays.
Can you explain why, maybe?
Yeah, sure thing. Actually, SoundCloud is usually a channel where artists from electronic genre tend to focus their efforts before they get really established. So there are more underground artists there, but that's really specific to your case. So you need to understand what you need and where you operate inside your genre to select for the best criteria here. So for example, if you'd be looking for the next, let's say, music social media star, you'd want to check the chart sorted by Instagram post likes, maybe. Yeah, but for our case, let's stick to SoundCloud plays.
And also the time frame options?
Of course. So now we have all the artists reflecting these conditions, sorted by the amount of SoundCloud plays they received in the past 12 months. As we're really interested more in recent spikes, we want to narrow down the time frame to 1 month. So it's as relevant as it can be for our case. So we see here the first artist, David Guetta. I guess he's already established, so not somebody we'd be looking for today. But before going a bit lower on the chart, you need to be really clear about who you're looking for and which criteria they need to match. Obviously, we want to focus on SoundCloud plays, which you can see here. So we want somebody who has received a decent amount of SoundCloud plays in the past month. Let's say that receiving 100,000 plays in 1 month already shows some kind of traction. So we want somebody who has at least 100,000 plays on SoundCloud. And the second criteria you should focus on, and it's really important actually, is the overall Viberate rank. As we mentioned before, the Viberate rank is the aggregated metric that gives you an overall, let's say, compass of where the artist stands in comparison to others. So normally we won't be looking here for those who are already on the top. We want to focus on those who aren't discovered yet. So let's say for our case, we should focus on something between 20,000 and 50,000.
So for the artist that is positioned between 20 and 50,000 rank,
exactly,
out of all these 500,000 artists, right?
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, this really depends on your specific case. you need to understand if you're searching for somebody who has already shown some traction, who already has a proven track record, you might focus on a bit higher numbers, like from somebody between 10,000 and let's say 30,000, or even higher if you want somebody who's really has a proven track record. But on the other hand, if you want those who are still under the radar, who are like unpolished diamonds and nobody has discovered them yet, then you can go like as low as 100,000 or something. But for our case, let's stick to 20,000 to 50,000.
Yeah, this will be great criteria actually.
Yep. So let's scroll a bit lower and see if somebody matches our criteria. Okay, I see Les Yeux Orange. They are ranked 26,000.
That is great.
By the way, do you know what Les Yeux Orange mean in French?
Something orange, I don't know.
Right on, yeah, it's orange eyes.
Eyes, yeah, but they're blue.
You're probably thinking it's going to be something dirty, but it's not.
Maybe, you know.
Okay, let's get back to it. So Les Yeux Orange, they actually have 420,000 plays on SoundCloud in the past month, which is really a lot. We can also see that they are really solid on YouTube. They have a lot of YouTube views. So these two numbers really indicate that they're performing well in the music segment.
Yeah.
But we also need to take into consideration the social media part, which we see here. So their numbers aren't as good as we'd like them to be. Basically, what you see here is the amount of support you would get when actually doing a release, how much you can rely on their channels when promoting something you're releasing with them. In this case, you need to invest more into their social media channels as they are not as developed yet. So let's scroll a bit lower and see if somebody else comes up.
So basically now we're searching for someone who has like enough SoundCloud plays, has a great Viberate popularity rank, and also has at least somehow developed other social and streaming channels. So this is for our specific case. So because we want to find someone that will help us straight out of the box with the promotion, with sharing his new releases and something like that, right?
Exactly, yeah. So let's go a bit lower. They're all pretty high ranked. All right, I see this one, DJ Cost. So he's ranked around 50,000. He has received 180,000 SoundCloud plays, which is awesome for an artist who's ranked like he is. And also all of his other stats seem pretty solid. So I think he's a good candidate to check into more detail. You could also continue this process, go along the chart to find even more artists that match this criteria. And once you have like a short list, what you want to do is you want to check them into a bit more detail to see where their growth is actually coming from and what it can be attributed to. So if I click on his name or image, I will be directed to his analytics. You can see here his analytics page. It's actually a pretty extensive analytics dashboard containing a lot of information. So actually going into so much detail to check every artist into everything we have here would take up a lot of time. So when doing an initial screening of a couple of artists, it really helps if you focus on just a couple of key metrics to first understand where their growth is coming from and how he's doing in comparison to others. Actually, the career health section, which we can see here, is the perfect section to do so. It actually gives you an overall online performance of the artist in the past 3 months in comparison to those coming from their subgenre who are ranked closest to them. So it's actually as relevant as it can be when it comes to comparisons. And we compare artists on 3 key areas of their career. So on the social media performance area, music channel performance, and network respect. In his case, we can see that he's doing exceptionally well on social media and on music channels. That's actually a good sign, because what we tend to notice in rising artists is that the music channel performance is the leading indicator, because at first the music fuels their growth. Social media usually follows, with network respect being the last of the 3 indicators that grows. That's basically because getting attention of other high-profile artists, getting them to follow you, getting them to show you some sort of endorsement. It just takes time. This doesn't happen overnight.
I mean, it's really logical if you think about it. First, there comes great music, and this is music channel performance. When you're great at music, you start posting this, you start exposing yourself to the public, and that is where social media performance follows. In this case, for DJ Kos, we can see they're practically correlated, meaning that probably what he was doing was, when starting with his music, he was doing quite a great strategy on the social, and it probably really worked for him. And like you said, the last one is of course network respect. When you're noticed by the social media, when you're starting to grow, then also the bigger names will see you and of course give you that respect you're looking for, right?
Very well put.
Yeah.
So based on what we were looking for, we can really conclude that DJ Kos is somebody that we need to consider. So as mentioned before, you could go back on the charts, continue doing what we showed you to come up with even more artists that match this criteria, that have a decent career health status. And then before contacting them, it's really wise to do another screening. So to go into a bit more detail to determine a couple of more things before deciding on whether you want to sign them or not.
Yeah, maybe if I just return quickly to the part when I was mentioning how Umek is positioned overall, how he ranks on the Viberate popularity in his country, genre, and subgenre. Again, on every artist analytics page, you will get this section that will actually show you exact same numbers, but presented for this specific artist. And this is another great indicator to quickly evaluate how someone is doing, because clearly you can see that in dance subgenre, electronic genre, France, and overall DJ Kos is growing in all areas. So he might actually be a really great rising star to consider, right?
Yeah, true. So what I was saying before deciding on contacting them, you might want to check out a couple of other things. So I want to show you first this section. It's called Total Fan Base Distribution. It gives you actually an overview of where the artist's fan base is, on which channel he's most present when it comes to the fan base. So you can see that he's most present on SoundCloud. And then if you want to check their SoundCloud channel into more detail, you actually have all the social media and streaming links of this artist in the sidebar. At this point, I want to stress out one other thing. While data can be a really powerful sidekick, like amazing sidekick when it comes to finding rising artists, in the end, it's the real hero is actually music. You still need to check the artist, to go on his channel, to listen to their music, to see if it's what you actually expect, and if the sound matches what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
And the second thing I want to show you here is actually something that a lot of labels has asked us before. They're really worried when like spikes like this happen all of a sudden, when growth comes, because there are a lot of artists using some, let's say, fraudulent behavior to buy likes, to buy followers, to like jumpstart their career, not organically, but let's say by buying followers.
Yeah, and it's really not that uncommon practice in those days, because those things became really cheap. So be aware when doing your research and really take time to consider all of these options.
Exactly. And we have a perfect section that really exposes that kind of anomalies. It's called Fan Base versus Engagement. And it shows you basically the correlation between monthly fan base growth and the fan base engagement. You can see actually here the trend of the past 12 months, how the fan base growth and engagement have moved. And if you can see that there is like a stable growth with some spikes that happen due to, let's say, organic growth, that's normal. But in cases where artists tend to buy their fan base, you would see a real spike on the fan base size, while the engagement line would basically be flat down below. So you could quickly spot anomalies here and maybe decide to go one step further and analyze the artist deeper. That's like an alarm system to go one level deeper.
Yeah, and in majority of cases, when someone just bought following, what the chart would actually look like, there would be probably one spike like this in 1 month, and then total drop, and you would see, like Micha said, more or less a flat line on the engagement part, which is really logical, because you can buy someone's like, but you cannot, I mean, you can probably, but it will not come in the same package that he's also engaged with your content, comments on your content, listens to your music, and so on.
Exactly. And if you want to go one step further, you can find a lot of data in this analytics dashboard. For example, these are the engagement stats for DJ costs across each channel week by week, so that you can pinpoint the actual highlights on specific channels. We actually show you also where the artist's fan base is coming from, or Spotify listeners in this case, how well he is connected, which are his top performing music contents, and also the social media content. But as we said, today we only have time for charts, as our platform really consists of a lot of data. We can't go into all the details, but you can actually try it for yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory. With the help of our Learn section, we're pretty sure that you'll be able to understand most of it. So let's just quickly recap what we did in our case here, right? So first of all, we filtered down the charts to fit to our specific market needs. We did this on the left here. Then we switched the sorting to a more specific channel that reflects what we're looking for, and we narrowed down the time frame to 1 month to actually be as recent as we can be. And then from the chart of artists, we found an artist who actually matches the criteria we were looking for. And then we showed you how to quickly check their analytics to see a couple of key KPIs to focus on at first when doing an initial screening.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah, that was a nice one, Micha. Great recap. I think that with all that said, with both these cases and look around on our platform, you learned some cool tricks and got ideas on how to do your own research and how to go around discovering your own potential rising stars that you want to add to your roster, or maybe do the collaborations with. So how to do it? So Micha showed you before that we have a lot of different sections on our site. Maybe you also noticed the Spotify and Beatport and other interesting parts of our website. And when we were going through the charts, you said we are going to dive into artist charts, but maybe you can tell us what happened today, something special.
Yeah, something special happened today. So just a couple of hours ago, we released a brand new feature, a Spotify exclusive feature. It's actually consists of Spotify artist charts. Those are charts that are basically very detailed charts based on specific Spotify metrics, as well as detailed Spotify analytics for each artist. So like I said, this has been online for just a couple of hours. So if you sign up today and try it out, you might be one of the first ones to check it. Maybe you beat the others to it and find some artist that hasn't been discovered yet.
Yep. And what you can see here is we were looking at the charts today, but you also have Beatport charts and, like mentioned right now, the Spotify charts. So maybe for the labels or artists in the electronic genre actually pushing their music to the Beatport, these are going to be the better charts to actually go into their detailed analysis. But again, this is something that is really specific for individual situations that any user would find himself in.
Exactly.
So, okay, what to do when you want to actually now go and start doing this research yourself? So the best thing is to scroll down on the home screen, and here on the left you can see the analytics part, and if you click on it you will be redirected to our product analytics page, and here we actually tell you everything you can do with Viberate Analytics. Like mentioned before, we really covered only a small part, only the charts, artist charts today, but we have a lot of other sections that will help you grow your career and maybe really explode in your trajectory. So moving on, you can try us out for free. You can watch our explainer video, see actually every feature that is currently on the market. And at the end, we come to the part that we are most interested in this moment. And this is the actual packages that we are offering. So if you will register through our homepage, you will be automatically granted the free forever account that is, like the name says, free, and it's a great price.
True.
But of course, with the free, you have a limited options. So you will only see the top 50 analytics pages, top 50 charts, and top 50 labeled Bitport charts. So for those functionality of today, you would probably be interested in the premium package, which is also our most popular package, because with that you get the whole usability of the site. What is covered in that, again, you can check here, or you can go back on the top, check all the features and everything that we mentioned already.
And can I just add this, that we also offer a 7-day free trial. So it's completely risk-free. You can cancel it anytime. So if you just want to try it out yourself, go for it. You can just click here for the premium package, try out all the functionalities, see if this stuff works for you. Also, if you have some doubts or some questions, we'd be more than happy to answer or assist you. But it's best to just dig in and explore for yourself, and a whole new world of data will open up for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we believe in learning by doing. So if you have an idea of what you would like to test, what you would like to see, maybe if you're an artist or a producer, go and check your own stats, how you position, compare yourself to others around you, because this will give you an idea what are the things that you can do to improve your career. And maybe if you're a label manager, you can go and benchmark and check how your artists are doing right now, what other labels are doing, and if you can maybe copy some of their tactics, strategies to get ahead, right?
Exactly. So we promised them one other thing at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So the Q&A part. We already received one question through email, so maybe we cover that one first, and then we go to the ones that were set live here. So a user asked us if it's possible that if you are performing under multiple artist names, if you can have all of them separated inside Viberate. We separate different entities based on their social media and streaming links. So if you have separate social media and streaming channels for different names under which you're performing, then yes, you can also have multiple pages on Viberate.
Yeah, but if you're only using one and they're not consistent with the naming, our algorithm automatically detects that. And like I mentioned before, we don't have any duplicate values and only have the specific unique artists in our database that are ranked from first to the last.
Exactly. So still, we want to stress out that take this opportunity, go on the website, start a free trial, and be one of the first ones to check out our Spotify analytics, which just launched a couple of hours ago. You can beat the competition this way because you will be the first one looking at it.
Exactly. So I think Ariana already posted a link, or if not, she will do it again in the chat section. So here you can click on the link and you will be redirected to our page where you can take time and maybe research if you're into it.
Also, there will be more webinars like this one and more specific ones also on Spotify and some other interesting topics. So be sure to follow us to see what comes up. And yeah, see you soon, guys.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.